Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Friday. Woohoo! We made it, guys. We made it to the almost weekend. Yay! We're here to give you all the news stories you need to know about before the weekend so you don't have to worry about it. That's right. No doom scrolling after today's Before Coffee episode. Just go out there and live your life, whether it be sleeping all weekend, touching grass, or I don't know, skydiving, whatever you want. Just not doom scrolling on the internet, please. Anything but that. This is the first and only international game show Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast where we look up our stories right before the show starts. We just got coffee in our veins. We're learning to read and speak on stream. Let's get into those Friday news dump stories and spin that segue wheel. Today on Friday's News Dump, high-speed rail line between Bordeaux and Toulouse. For Sébastien Lecornu, the project is irreversible, coming out of France. Plus, boy who spent on £100,000 shoplifting spree, banned from entering Holland and Barrett and Boots.
Greetings, United States. More news dump. French prosecutors open criminal investigation into Elon Musk, and legislators advance bill to limit corporate money to kill Citizens United, the worst Supreme Court decision this century.
Oh man, what a shame. In more news, defiant stormer not walking away after Labour suffers disastrous local election results. In the UK and in Indonesia, a volcano kills 3 and a search for 20 missing hikers is underway. Uh-oh.
And have you ever wondered why space junk keeps falling and what's keeping it up there? I don't, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Space junk falls back to Earth faster as sunspots occur. And there is no vaccine for the deadly hantavirus. So what that means for your floating petri dishes out there.
In my culture news, Rebel Wilson is a fantastical liar who made up terrible allegations against multiple people, a court is told, as the, Rebel Wilson defamation case continues. It's been going, but we haven't talked about it once, so I wanted to mention it.
And it's National Have a Coke Day. So have a Coke and a smile. And if you're Bobby Kennedy Jr., not that Coke. It is May 8th, 2026 on Before Coffee.
I didn't realize it was Coke Day because I actually saw a story about somebody finding a bunch of cocaine.
Not that Coke, man. Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I know.
Coca-Cola.
But it would have been funny to cover that story too, but I didn't. I was like, I don't really want to talk about them finding pounds of, yeah. It's like, found 1,000 pounds of cocaine. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know. 2,100 doses of cocaine that was found in Portugal. Yeah, but it was probably a very short story anyways, so we're not missing much. Why is my hair being weird? Now my hair's being weird. That's where I got my weird hair from. Okay, our first segue spin for this Friday. Let's spin it. Putt, DJ, spin it. I'm not a beatboxer. Sorry, guys. Apologize for whatever that was.
You wanna hang out? You got to take her out. Cocaine.
Associate. Well, there you go. We already got a. Reminds me of a song right there. That's great.
It's already Friday, May 8th. Wow. And my pen.
Here we go. Our first story is coming out of France by Liberation and AFP. For the government, the matter is no longer up for debate. The high-speed rail line in southwest will be built, Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu affirmed on yesterday, the 7th of May, the now non-reversible nature of this project after signing a memorandum of understanding on the subject in Toulouse in the presence of elected officials from local authorities involved. This project is now irreversible, and therefore its irreversibility is obviously reflected in the initial sum of the money, almost 500 million euros, which will be released to allow the tendering procedures to be launched, said the head of the government regarding this line, which is to connect Bordeaux to Toulouse and then to Dax. So, woohoo for people in Bordeaux and Toulouse and Dax. They get a rail line, a high-speed rail line. Sébastien Lecornu's speech was eagerly awaited by local elected officials, who had repeatedly expressed their concern in recent months that the state would withdraw from this major infrastructure project, which of course is giving a lot of people jobs, in which its contribution was initially slated to reach 40% of the budget, matching the contributions of local authorities. Citing the obstacles faced by the government, such as the lack of majority in the National Assembly, budgetary difficulties, and the limited time remaining before the end of the presidential term, the Prime Minister nevertheless has deemed it unthinkable and not to take action on certain issues, including transportation matters. I don't care what bullshit the government's going through. This line is being built, is basically what he said. Supporters of the high-speed rail line, LGV, have been mobilizing for several months against the possibility raised in the report by the Infrastructure Advisory Council of using public-private partnership to finance the project. Oh, they're saying do not let this privatize, because if it gets privatized, it's probably going to be treated like shit. We need to keep the government responsible. When questioned on this subject on the 7th of May, Transport Minister Philippe Tabarot indicated that nothing has been definitively decided in its report revealed by news website Context. The COI and advisory board, composed of experts and members of parliament, considered it likely that the cost of the Southwest LGV, estimated at 14 billion euros in 2020, will be revised by upwards of approximately 20%. Let me get my calculator out. 20% of 14 billion. We'll just do 14. About two more billion. 2 more billion. So 16.8 billion instead of 14, which, you know, as we've talked about before, a billion is a lot of money. So an extra 2.8 billion is still a lot. It also believes that the commissioning schedule for the two lines, planned for 2032 and 2034, should be revised for 2035 for the Toulouse connection and 2042 for the Bordeaux-Dax connection. The socialist president of the Occitanie region, Carol Delga, indicated that she approved of this approach of signing such a memorandum of understanding, which aims to commit 500,000 euros to ensure the calls for tenders for some 12 billion worth of works are probably launched in 2026. Thank you for ensuring that these 2 pages are followed by action, she had earlier told Sébastien Lecornu before his counterpart in the Haut-Garonne department, Sébastien Vincini, reiterated his vigilance. We must see this through to the end. As a sign of importance to the issue, Sébastien Lecornu was accompanied in Toulouse by Philippe Tabarot, the Minister of Regional Planning, François Gattel, the Minister of Public Accounts, David Amiel, the head of the SNCF, and one of his predecessors at the Matignon, Jean Tostet. In a letter sent on Wednesday, the 6th of May, opponents of the high-speed rail line had requested a meeting with Sébastien Lecornu. Press release, they stated that the project is in blatant contradiction with all of France's environmental priorities, commitments, and obligations, and calls for replacement with the regeneration and modernization of existing lines. Can't you just do both? I guess they can. They're like, we don't have enough money in the budget to do both. So let's build the new line first and then make all the rest of the lines better. I guess that's their argument from the government. But there you go. Train line drama. I think trains are still useful for the environment. You can get less people traveling from what did we say the line was again? For between Bordeaux and Toulouse, if there are less cars, more trains, that saves the environment.
You know what? I associate this with. I don't know if you're like me. When you're sitting around in a train, you have a lot of time to think, and that's what you do.
Yep.
You think about, wow, what's the logistics that go into train travel? How many bridges do we cross? How many times a year do these bridges get inspected? And what could possibly go wrong with this trip? And I just think, oh,
definitely
let me find some movie to watch or something instead of thinking. Okay. Anyway, that's what I was supposed to do with. It's like me. I just booked a train. I booked an Amtrak to Amtrak doesn't go to Madison yet. They're building a line at some point, unless Trump cancels it. But they I gotta take a bus from Chicago to Madison, unfortunately.
Are you going there for graduation?
Yeah. Anyway, that's my association. Is there another story?
Yes, I do have another story. This one's a bit shorter. And it's coming out of the UK, and it's about they say a boy, I don't know how old they are, but a boy has shoplifted up to 100,000 pounds from Boots, and they've been banned forever, I guess, for life.
Pounds sterling?
Yes, 100,000 pounds sterling. This is from Ellie Crabb. A teenage boy who went on more than a 100,000 pound shoplifting spree has been told by a magistrate to seize this opportunity to turn his life around as they spared him from jail. The boy has also been banned from entering Holland and Barrett and Boots stores, court officials said. The 17-year-old pinched cosmetics from shelves in dozens of raids in London branches of high street giants Boots in Holland and Barrett over the last 2 years. Yeah, that's what I thought. It wasn't one big shoplifting spree, right? They just dabbled,
not at once.
They dabbled in some jacket. Stuff. For 2 years, exactly.
Big trench coat. Big ass trench coat.
Magistrates at the Highbury Corner Youth Court heard. So he has a boy, because he was probably 15 to 17, right, during these crimes. The teenager, who cannot be named because of his age, previously pleaded guilty to 15 counts of theft, which includes 11 counts where he took goods. Which included 11 counts where he took goods valued at 59,280 pounds. From Boots. He had been charged with 56 counts of shoplifting from Boots. The court was previously told, and the offenses were to be taken into consideration. The goods stolen in all the thefts from Boots between April 24 and December 25 were valued at more than 100,000 pounds, the court was told, as well as items worth more than 2,415 from Holland and Barrett. He targeted Boots stores in several boroughs, including Westminster and Kensington and Chelsea, and stole from Holland and Barrett stores in Hammersmith and Fulham and Camden. His guilty pleas include his highest value theft, where he stole 9,000.
Arrest his parents. Anyway.
I guess. I don't know. Where he stole 9,300. These guys are huge corporations. I don't care if you steal some cosmetics.
I don't care.
I'm saying I don't care. He stole 9,316 pounds worth of goods from a Boots in Kensington, Chelsea on October 2nd. So all in one go, he stole around 9,000 pounds worth of goods from one Boots in Kensington, Chelsea on October 2nd, 24. The youth was caught after being identified on CCTV stealing items in the company of another youth. The court previously heard that the defendant had been shocked by a warning from his grandfather he could end up in prison if he does not turn his life around. See, his parents were trying to straighten him up.
Oh, sure they are.
Asked by the magistrates about the reasons behind his prolific offending, the boy said in March, "Sometimes I just get distracted and led by other people and stuff like that." Oh yeah, the classic child excuse. Well, my friends were urging me to do it, so I did it because I don't want them to hate me. I don't want them to think I'm some sort of pussy. I can steal some cosmetics from a freaking Boots. I'll show you. I do not want to be like that anymore. I just wanted to be with my granddad. He was spared jail time at the same court on Thursday, the 7th of May, when he was sentenced to a 12-month criminal behavior order, banning him from entering Holland and Barrett and Boots stores, court officials said. The youth was also ordered to pay £400 in compensation to Boots and a further £100 to Holland and Barrett, and was made the subject of a 12-month referral order in which a youth offender panel will decide the terms of his rehabilitation. He could actually have what is it called? Kleptomania. That's an actual psychological disorder.
Right? So his parents never decided to give him any kind of help? They just said, he's just going
I don't think it's something you just we did a test on your child and we found they have kleptomania. It's not really a thing that you
if
do.
somebody has a compulsion to take things, they have kleptomania. It's not a test. You end up with a lot of stuff
sentencing
that
the youth
ignores
who
their
turns
kleptomania.
18 later this year, Magistrate Alexia Featherston Howe warned him, this shifts dramatically when you go to adult court. Seize this opportunity for rehabilitation. This is your chance to do that. So, this isn't, I didn't want to get you angry about, I just wanted to talk about a wacky story about 100,000 pounds of... Okay.
I'm
sound incredibly insulted by this.
I can't understand how anybody
goofy
keeps
story
making excuses for it when you can just get away with shit. I mean, this is a secret of being under 18, by the way. You get away with shit. So, as soon as this kid turns 18 and he breaks the law one time, prison for 20 years.
Well, he's been warned.
I have no
patience. I mean, the judge literally said,
doing it.
You're going to go to jail. When you turn 18, you're going to go to jail. So, he's been warned, and after that, it's not nobody else's problem.
Yeah, we got laws for a reason, don't we? I mean, we don't have laws just for this guy can break them, and then everybody else has got to, wait, I break the law, I go to jail. This guy, how is that fair to me? Because he's 17.
Like I said, according to the, I'm just saying, according to the story, everyone was warning him. But what are you supposed to? Yeah, what are you supposed to do? You already warned him to stop doing it.
Throw him in jail. They throw 14-year-old black kids in America.
Yeah, well,
all the time.
It's a different country.
Right, but why is this guy singled out? Oh, he's just a victim of his blah blah blah. I don't
know if he's not black or not.
No, man.
Color was not indicated. He could be a black kid. I have no idea. It's not no information. Okay, I don't care about America.
But they put a bullet square in your back for just running out of a store with merchandise all the time.
Okay. So because other people are less fortunate, you should be punished in your country.
He definitely should be punished. He should be punished to the full extent of the law. He's breaking the law. Give him one chance.
He is being punished. He's putting on a. He's basically been put into a provisional juvie court where they're going to be watching him for 12 months, for the whole year, to make sure he doesn't do any of this shit again.
Break the law one time,
and as soon as he breaks that provision, he'll probably be actually sentenced to jail because he's basically on watch. He's basically without any of the actual physicality, right? He has like a ankle monitor in a way. He probably has to meet up with a police officer every week and say, "Today I didn't steal anything." Whoa! You better not have.
And you think he's going to learn anything from that? You're being optimistic if you think he's learned anything. He's probably.
I think it's good to be optimistic about rehabilitation.
He probably needs psychological evaluation of some sort. He probably needs real help, and instead his parents just made excuses for him. That's what I say. I mean,
no, but I didn't hear anything about parents making excuses. You're making a huge assumption.
Where did all the 100,000 pounds worth of merchandise go?
He probably gave it away. He was stealing makeup. He was probably just like, "Hey, I like this girl. Let me steal some lipstick for her," and then gave her some lipstick. That's what it sounds like to me.
Pilferage does add to the inflation, you know. Costs of things go up. If people are getting it for free, that means, you know, the price for everybody else goes up. I know businesses
I don't think so.
To justify their price raises. You don't think so? What if everything was stolen? You don't think that that's a thing? Pilferage drives up prices.
I think you're going on a really crazy point for such a short story. anyways, is that your associate?
It's not crazy. What's crazy about that? There's a reason things are illegal. They're not illegal for just no reason.
You're really attached to the story, and I'm really not that attached to it. So I'm ready to move on from the story.
And you get to steal from me.
Yeah,
thank you.
I understand you're emotionally affected by the story.
I'm not emotionally affected. I just don't know why we treat
Barrett and Holland and Barrett are huge corporate stores. They're not a family corner shop, okay? They have insurance for this kind of stuff.
Until they're a certain age, and then we treat them like
the largest theft in the world isn't shoplifting. The largest theft in the world is wage theft. So, you know, until we fix that.
Okay. Quote me some actual numbers, and I'll believe you.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to quote you numbers because this is the whole tangent I don't want to be on. I just wanted to cover a weird story. I don't care about arguing about this.
You don't care. We don't care.
Story.
I don't care about making a point.
This is becoming a 5-minute argument I don't want to have. I just wanted to cover a wacky story.
You call it an argument. I call it making a point. You have a counter argument, that would be an argument. You don't have a counter
story.
argument. You have shut up, stop talking. That's not a counter argument. We got a spin?
Yeah.
We can read a controversial story. You want me to comment on it or not?
I don't think it's very controversial. I thought it was just weird and wacky. I don't think there's anything controversial about it.
It's weird and wacky.
Yeah, I have 5 weird stories today. We already talked about this before the show started, that there's so much weird news today, so I just covered it today.
You want to think that my comments are arguments. That's weird. Anyway, go ahead.
No, it's your story, so I'm not doing anything right now.
What's the spin? What did you spin?
Same thing.
Same thing as what?
As you.
Okay. Associate then. Associate! Maybe we ought to fix the wheel, get the same spin twice in a row. French prosecutors are opening a criminal investigation into Elon Musk and his social program thingy-majiggy. Used to be called Twitter. What do you want it? Social media, that's it. Laura Motet and Martin Untersinger. This is from Archive IS, probably a French paper, I'm thinking, and translated to English. I'm thinking.
You say
Laura
IS?
Motet is .is.
Yeah, that's not France. That would be FR. So I don't know what IS is.
What's BFR stand for? Oh, okay. The latest legal step follows Musk's failure to respond to summons by the Paris prosecutor's office. I'm too rich. I don't have to respond. Arrest this guy. Just arrest him. You appear for a summons, you get arrested. Oh, I'm too rich. This is what it's sickening, man. Oh, another rich people. Since summer 20, prosecutors have been probing numerous alleged abuses in preliminary investigation. Let's go. There's a picture of Dingleberry getting in an elevator. It's like, we need a picture of Elon Musk. Let's get one that was clandestinely taken while he was getting in an elevator, pursing his lips. And he looks like an idiot there. I mean, you can't blame him. He wasn't really posing for the picture, but yeah. Elon Musk's no-show for a French judicial summons did not slow the inquiry. The Paris prosecutor's office confirmed on Thursday, May 7th, that it had opened a criminal investigation on May 6th into the parent company of the social network X. Its owner, Musk, and its former chief executive, Linda Yaccarino. Did she show up? This comes 2 weeks after Musk failed to appear for a summons for a voluntary interview on April 20th. Around 10 executives from the American company had also been summoned. Cami Hire, X's lawyer, hadn't to Le Mans' request for comment at the time and publishing his article. Social network refused to comply with the court order and over its algorithm had in February condemned the initial investigation, claiming it breaks French law, circumvents due process, and endangers free. I would shut them down. France, just shut them down. Just shut down X. You can't be in our country. Bye. Have a good time. You get all them other countries. Good luck. Musk has repeatedly attacked the prosecutors, calling them mentally retarded and a puppet of left-wing NGOs. Oh boy!
Wow, what a defense!
This boy needs a freaking vacation. This is a new stage in the proceedings, said centrist MP Eric Botherell, whose report prosecutors had led to the opening of a preliminary investigation in January of last year. I do not think that failing to appear for a judicial summons was a good defense strategy. I'm pleased that the justice system of my country is taking this issue seriously. The preliminary investigation initially focused on 2 possible offenses: deliberately manipulating the algorithm to influence French public debate and unlawful use of user-sensitive personal data for targeted advertising. In early summer 2025, the case was handed to the National Cyber Gendarmerie Unit, and the investigation expanded in November. Prosecutors have discovered numerous anti-Semitic and Holocaust-denying messages generated by Grok, the AI on this platform, and broadened their investigation to include charges of denying crimes against humanity. Investigators also spotted a change in X's tool to detect child sexual abuses image and an 80% drop in reports of content related to France. Deeming it deliberate, prosecutors began to investigate possible complicity in the possession and distribution of child sexual abuse images. In January, after Grok generated thousands of sexually explicit images of women and minors, prosecutors again broadened the investigation, alleging that Twitter and X deliberately delayed taking measures to limit the spread of these images. Faced with the recurring use of the X platform and the commission of various offenses, prosecutors further expanded their investigation to include operating illicit platform. Yeah, operating illicit platform. Shut them down! Shut them down, France. In February, the investigation led to search and seizure of evidence under warrant of social networks French offices by gendarme, assisted by Europol, the European Police Cooperation Agency. It says translation is original article published in French. That's why I said that at the beginning. Anyway, there's your quick story on Leon. Hopefully, they throw his ass in jail. At the very least, knock Twitter off France, knock them off their fucking pedestal. We don't need Twitter. Make the reporters get out and get jobs and go to work and find stories instead of just reporting stuff that I can just find myself on Twitter if I wanted to. But I don't care. I never go there. I have no use for it. I still don't see a use for it. Anyway, there's my fun little story about Leon ignoring the law, which is what rich people can get away with. I can't. I can't.
Of course, it's easy to associate this with our story we did yesterday about how they made AI that breaks any of these, or they're planning to, right? The EU is planning to pass a law that if any AI bot is making people naked, children or adults or whatever, it gets banned. So I think that it might even ban Twitter itself from the EU if it does it. If Grok is doing that, yeah.
No function. Serves no function. It has no function. It has no function. There's no function for Twitter that can't be replaced by just about any social media app. It does nothing. It has nothing. It has absolutely nothing. There's so many social media apps out there. Why you go to Twitter? I have no idea. Because you're morons? I have no idea. You lazy?
Supposedly it's the only place you can get porn for a lot every other social media like actually bans nude images, but Twitter is one of the places where you can just post somebody getting fisted in a hotel and it doesn't get removed. So
don't forget Google was being sued too by Epstein victims. Google was being sued for not suppressing that shit. So again, Google doing the same crap. Again, YouTube, I'm really pissed at those assholes. They really piss me off, man. I don't even know what to say about these jackasses anymore. It's like, oh, keep sending me shit that I complain about. Really? I even reported these things, and you just keep sending me these things. Anyway, back to another story. Let's talk about more legislation to get big money out of politics, we hope. Because that's a problem in the United States. We have this thing called Citizens United, poorly named. It was a bunch of corporations.
Corporations United.
Citizens United. Oh,
yeah.
Totally
corporations
fake,
are people. The famous 2010 meme, which was actually a real policy, not just a meme.
So yeah, these fascists in the Supreme Court who actively taking free trips and free gifts from oligarchs to change laws. By the way, the Supreme Court is not their job to change laws, and they keep doing it. They're taking cases that are based on fictitious events that never happened, and they keep accepting these as actual cases, and it's bullshit. Supreme Court needs to be eliminated, replaced by about 15 justices. Just get rid of all of them. Just start over again. Let's find a new system. Anyway, Citizens United is the reason we are screwed, and the reason we keep getting creeps in our political systems, because whoever gets the most money wins. And whoever can get the most soft super PAC money wins. There's no limits. This is from civilbeat.org. Chad Blair and Kevin Drayton. Legislators advance bill to limit corporate money in Hawaii. This is one state taking action. The legislation to make Hawaii one of the first states to sidestep the Citizens United U.S. Supreme Court case that allows unlimited corporate spending in local elections. Man, there should be lockdown elections, should not even take 3 3 weeks, 6 weeks tops election cycle should be. Not years and years and years of god-awful TV ads. Oh my God. Who wants to watch political ads? Even if I agree with them, I don't want to watch them. I hate them. One of the most innovative and far-reaching bills at the state capitol this year is poised for the final vote this week, thanks to last-minute amendments agreed to on floor sessions on Wednesday. The House and Senate still have to cast final votes on Senate Bill 2471, the so-called Citizens United bill, on Friday, the last bill of the 2026 session. Really? The last day? It's only May. Well, I guess, I hope they got full-time jobs then. Shit, what do they do the rest of the year? But both chambers voted unanimously to accept the amendment, suggesting that its chances of passing are strong. The SB 2471 is based on the concept that states like Hawaii can limit the impact of Citizens United, which was a 2010 U.S. Supreme Court ruling that allowed unlimited contributions by corporations to political action committee by passing their own laws. Anyway, and Hawaii's doing it is circumventing it or eliminating it or whatever by passing their own laws to change the way corporations are defined. Aha! The bill contends that corporations are artificial persons created by state law and granted powers and privileges by it, and that those powers do not include spending money to include elections. Lawmakers weren't able to say on Wednesday why their bill also applies to unions. Weren't able to say on Wednesday whether the bill also applies to unions, but a national expert, Tom Moore, senior fellow at Democracy Policy Center for American Progress, who has been following the legislation, man, they get a lot of words, said unions are considered an artificial person and also wouldn't be allowed to spend directly or indirectly in Hawaiian politics. But you need money anyway. You either like the guy or you don't. All this money nonsense, it just makes it just poisons the system. It's absolute nonsense. Money is not a person. House and Senate lawmakers also give final approval Wednesday to House Bill 1800, the $20 billion state budget for the fiscal year that begins July 1st. That's what I mean for the year. The fiscal year in Hawaii ends in June, way through the year, and voted in favor of automatic increases up to 5% a year in shipping rates for the next 3 years for inter-island shipper Young Brothers. Okay, we're getting to the minutiae of this bill all of a sudden. In all, the House and Senate approved 220 bills. SB 2471 almost died in conference committee Friday when it barely survived a vote before legislative deadline. Government reform groups like Clean Elections Hawaii feared that the changes made to the bill in the committee might have made it more vulnerable to illegal challenges. But the floor amendments introduced Wednesday to the Senate by Senator Jarrett Iahokaluli, I love Hawaiian names, and the House by Rep. Scott Matayoshi, that's a Japanese name, obviously, removed language from the bill that would have granted the Attorney General's office the authority to interpret the law rather than being adjudicated through any court proceedings. There you go. Granted the Attorney General's authority. Okay, let's make us a law. Let's get rid of money in politics. So this goes on for quite a while. Let's read some more paragraphs from it, some facts about it. House Majority Caucus Leader Crispin Kahaloa, we said her name a minute ago, told her colleagues the bill sets her clear path to resolve a long-standing controversy about how much OHA, Office of Hawaii and something or other, should receive its share of ceded land revenue. It also one of the stands to help cope with the risk of federal cuts to Hawaiian programs. Where the federal government is stepping back from its responsibility to indigenous communities, we will not, she said. When the federal government has failed Native Hawaiian communities here at home, we will not. We will step forward. Stinky the Clown, of course, is just cutting all programs because he works for Russia. We don't want to sit there and go through everything this piece of crap does with his life because he obviously does not care about anybody but himself and saving his own ass. So he's cutting funding to everything to screw Americans because he works for Russia. So there's your fun little story about Hawaii. I don't know how much fun it is. Striking back 16 years later after Citizens United. At this rate, by the 25th century, maybe we'll have a democracy again. I don't know. We'll see. 16 years.
Oh, dear.
16 years. Oh, we're getting to it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fun little experiment, you know. Think how oligarchical a country can get before democracy collapses, and I guess we found out the answer. Not very long at all before it's just like,
there's a bunch of...
I'm gonna run a country like a business. That's what I associate this with. The whole idea to run a country like a business where you only make profit and you don't have any losses, you don't have any maintenance costs, right? Just let the roads and the trains and the bridges collapse because we don't need to spend money on that stuff. We just need to spend money on exporting corn to China or something. That's what we need to do. Make those soybeans, everyone.
And as our previous article showed, oligarchs don't think they have to obey the law. Oh, subpoena from a court? Fuck that. I'm not even going. Wow. Have my lawyer send them a letter. So fuck them assholes. Get money out of politics. This is just the way, you know. This is why we're screwed. Hopefully other countries learn from this shit. You know? Tax those rich assholes. Take their money. Take all of it. Make them poor. I don't care if they go destitute. They don't serve a purpose. Rich people don't serve a purpose. If you kill a rich person at the head of a corporation, does the corporation fold? No, it doesn't. They just stick another rich person
Put another person there.
That's it. Right. Yep. Nothing happens. The most replaceable thing in the world is an oligarch. The most replaceable thing. A guy at the top going, gimme, 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 is the easiest thing to replace. They have no purpose. They should be taken out and shot in the head. And that's a lot quicker than the guillotine, I think. And as our endless wars prove, we have bullets to waste. So let's waste them in billionaires' brains. They serve no purpose.
Our next story, tell me a joke. Oh, sorry,
jokes, all right. Hopefully this is something to joke about for a change, huh? Maybe? No?
Well, it depends how humorous you find things. This is some news on the local elections in the UK, in which Starmer has seen it as a disastrous result for Labour, the Labour Party, right? These are local elections, though, right? So this isn't the national parliament. This is just local council. Yep. The lower level management that is a council member. This from Millie Cook on The Independent. A defiant Sir Keir Starmer has insisted he is not going to walk away amid growing pressure on him to resign in the face of Labour's disastrous local election results. He said he takes responsibility for the results. These guys? Anyway. This is a normal thing that people do in the UK.
I know. That's why let's change government in 5 minutes.
It's why Liz. That's why Liz Truss lasted 2 seconds, because they were like, she had such a bad result. People were not happy that she just dropped that. Yeah. It's still a thing that is normalized in the political system that is the UK, because let's be honest, the Prime Minister is not elected. He's just the current leader of the party. Some people do vote for parties because who the current leader is, right? But they technically do not vote for that person, so they can change who it is every 2 seconds if they wanted. He said he'd take responsibility for the results as the party hemorrhaged seats across the country, but the Prime Minister vowed to fight on, saying, "Days like this don't weaken my resolve to deliver the change that I promised." Speaking as early results saw Labour lose hundreds of councillors in 8 local authorities across England, while Reform, the Greens and Liberal Democrats all made gains, Sir Keir Starmer said there was no sugarcoating the results, admitting that hurt and it should hurt. I think it's good that they have more stronger parties that aren't just Labour and the Tories, but I'm coming from a country with 36 parties or some shit, so I do like the system of having 20 million people fighting in a room. Myself. The Prime Minister faced heavy losses as vote counting continues throughout Friday, the 8th of May, in both English local elections and contests for Scottish Parliament and the Welsh Seanad, which is also just the Welsh Parliament. Sir Keir has already faced speculation about his leadership, with the Times reporting overnight that the Energy Secretary Ed Miliband had urged him to set out a timetable for his departure. But Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy urged his party not to play past the parcel with the leadership in response to election results. Asked if it had contemplated resignation, he told broadcasters, "The voters have sent a message about the pace of change, how they want their lives improved. I was elected to meet those challenges, but I'm not going to walk away from those challenges." Meanwhile, local racist Nigel Farage claimed that the results so far show reform is on course to win the next general election. He's talking crap. He's just trying to make people think that they've already lost so that they don't even vote. Don't listen to him, he's lying to you. Speaking at Kingsdown Methodist Church in West London on the 8th of May this morning, in the face of a disastrous set of results, Sir Keir said, "The results are tough. They are very tough, and there's no sugarcoating it. We have lost brilliant Labour representatives across the country. These are people who put so much into their communities, so much into our party, but maybe they're not doing enough for their local communities, which is why they got voted out. Maybe keep that in mind." Sir Keir Starmer is the representative of the total Labour government in Parliament, as in national level. The people who got voted out are local level officials, and some of them might actually not be doing anything for their country, their communities, or the party, okay? So maybe keep that in mind. Whatever Keir Starmer is doing doesn't really affect whatever's happening in fucking, I don't know, Oldham. Or Wigan, you know?
What? It was a swing to the left, no, wasn't it? Was it a swing to the left?
I don't know. I'm about to talk about the results. I haven't, and a lot of.
I think it's going to be a
so
swing
far,
to the left.
I haven't. All the results aren't yet. There's only 43 out of 130 councils that have declared the actual majority. So we'll go over that soon. It's coming up.
So we were slow.
And that hurts. It should hurt, and I take responsibility. When voters send a message like this, we must reflect and we must respond. So, the local elections of the 2026 boroughs, districts, and unitary authorities, 43 of 130 have been declared so far as of the reporting of this story, so I don't have any other close numbers than that. Labour majority went off in Wigan. 1, 2, I wish they would give me a number. 3, I'm looking at like a literal map. 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 majority out of the 43 that have been revealed. There it looks like there's 2. Newcastle and Lyme and Havering went to a reform majority, so that's only 2 so far that have been
yeah, and it changes every minute, so it's probably not even worth.
Well, these are declared. Now. These are 100% declared, as in there's no change in it. It's going to be
as of now, right?
Yeah, as of now, so only 43. It looks like there's 4 that went to Conservatives. There's 5 that went to Liberal Democrats, and then there's still that are no party overall control, which means they're kind of like a split council. For example, or I should say, this is really interesting. So Bolton, for example, has Labour 20, so that's technically a majority, but it's not enough majority to actually make any changes because they're Labour 20, Conservatives 11, Independent 11, Reform 10, Lib Dems 5, and Green 3, right? So that the spread is so large that they can't really make a huge. There's a couple of non-majority parties. Yeah.
That's what happens every year in England. They form a coalition government. They accomplish. They blame each other. They elect a new prime minister. Is it rinse and repeat?
Yeah, I want to say the majority of so far declared boroughs and districts are no majority. So yeah, a lot of, and I think the problem is that what they're complaining about is that Reform got a lot of seats. So, for example, in Oldham, Labour has 18, Independents, not the Liberal Democrats, the Independents. I don't know what IND stands for. Have 16.
I don't trust
Reform
any party
16.
called Reform. I don't trust any party called Reform.
No, they're the racist party. They're the anti-immigrant.
Rich people trying to get their money back. That's what it sounds like.
They're leftover Brexiteers that needed to continue their political career, so they made up more reasons that, I thought Brexit was going to fix everything. Oh, no, Brexit didn't fix anything. It was the immigrants. And then once they get rid of the immigrants, they're going to go like, Brexit didn't fix anything. It's all the Indian people that came here in the 1800s. Let's kick them out, too, and the Pakistan people.
Right.
It's all the Africans.
The Reform Party is what the Ross Perot people called themselves after Ross Perot stopped running, and they instantly became the Tea Party, and now they're MAGA. The same fucking people.
Yeah, so
they're just,
it's just
I hate immigrants.
Let's find a new thing to blame.
Yeah.
Yep. The real problem is the system, but they can't say it's the system because they benefit from the system. Anyway, continuing the story.
Education was there to waste my time. That's what it was there for.
I think the vast majority of people do understand that we face huge challenges as a country. Yet again, I do agree with that. They had, 12 years of conservative leadership, and it's not going to be what has it been, 2 years, 4 years? It's not going to be that quick of a change. We've had a series of economic shocks in recent years, and there's been a very difficult international situation at present, and they know that. But they will still want their lives to improve. They still want to see the change that we promised. They know the status quo is letting them down, and they were frustrated. They don't feel the changes. Most people don't feel the changes. It's like when you grow taller as a kid. You don't realize you're tall until suddenly you can ride the rides at the amusement park. But you're not sitting there every day going, I feel the change. So yeah, this is just what's it called? Recency bias. I don't know. It feels the same as 8 years ago. Do you really remember how it felt 8 years ago? Do you? Because I feel like you probably don't. It came as polling guru Sir John Curtis said that the incoming results of the local election so far indicate the fracturing of British politics. Good! More party diversity, I say. He explained that the Reform UK, which is expected to be the big winners of the contest, are not quite at 30% of the vote. None of the parties are very big, marking change from the two-party system that has dominated politics in England. Yes. Get rid of the two-party system in every country is what I say. Sir John told the BBC, it may well be now that Labour now that Labour lose rather less than the 1,500 seats that perhaps some people said were potentially the tipping point for attempts to unseat Keir Starmer. He said there's still a very long way to go, and certainly what one has to say is this: the big picture is Reform are ahead, but none of the parties are very big. Let's make that clear. Reform are ahead as in they're gaining seats, not that they're actually a majority. Right? So like last year they had 10 seats and now they have 20 seats. That kind of ahead. Even Reform are probably not as quite as 30% of the vote, so the fracturing of British politics is underlined by these results and confirmed by them. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage insists that results show a truly historic shift in British politics. Speaking from Havering, where Reform took control of London Borough Council for the first time, he added, "We've been so used to thinking about politics in terms of left and right, but what Reform are able to do is to win in the areas that have always been conservative." Yeah, because you're far right. But equally, we're proving in a big way we can win in the areas that Labour have dominated, frankly, since the end of World War I. Yeah, because politics, World War I versus now, are exactly the same. Reform. Anyways, there's your current coverage of the election. Unfortunately, I wish we had more recent numbers, but probably won't be finished counting until way after we've gone offline and it's the weekend. So we might talk about it on Monday. I'm not really sure. I feel like they've already really they've set the bed, I guess, so to say, on the results. And I guess give me a joke. Plenty of sarcasm, so you must have some jokes.
Keir Starmer told recently about the Conservatives. He said, here's what his joke said. He said that the Conservatives have had more positions in the last 14 years than the Kama Sutra. That's a pretty good joke. Anyway.
That is pretty good.
So there you go. That's a nice joke from the Prime Minister. Probably stole it. Probably as a joke writer, but it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say this about any country I live in. This isn't like about reform. It's about a lot of politicians. You really need to look at them and say, wait, 2 weeks ago he said this. This week he's saying this. What is he going to say tomorrow? What is he going to change his point on in an hour from now? Because all these politicians want is to get votes in and then do whatever the hell they want with their power, right? They're not going to give you what you're asking for. They're just lying to you to get your votes. Like parties like this. So that's my political statement. Next story.
That's about it. I mean, that's the way it is all the time.
This is coming out of Indonesia by Al Jazeera. As Mount Dukono erupts on the Halmahera Islands, trapping hikers who went to the area despite being closed since April 17th. So, yeah, kind of their own fault. Hey, it says don't climb this mountain, it's gonna erupt. We'll go anyways. What's the chance it'll erupt? Indonesian authorities are searching for 20 missing hikers after the eruption of Mount Dukono on Halmahera Island killed 3 people. Mount Dukono, an active volcano, erupted at 7:41 a.m. local time today, which was about 22, that would be 10:41 in the UK, so -6, 4 p.m. in the East Coast on Thursday, spouting a tower of volcanic ash as high as 10 kilometers or 6.21 miles into the sky. It was accompanied by a weak to strong booming sound. Indonesia Center for Volcanology and Geological Hazard Mitigation said in a statement. Ivan Ramdhani, the head of the local rescue agency, told the Reuters news agency they had deployed dozens of personnel, including police, to search for the 20 hikers trapped by the eruption. Ramdhani said 9 of the hikers are from Singapore. 3 hikers, including 2 foreigners, were killed, Police Chief Erlikson Pasirbu of the North Halmahera told Kompas TV, according to the AFP news agency. The area had been closed to visitors since April 17th after scientists observed an increase in volcanic activity. Authorities had told residents and tourists to stay 4 kilometers or 2.4 miles from the Malupang Warirang crater, which is in the center of the volcanic activity. But I guess some people wanted to go look at it as it was about to erupt and got caught in the actual eruption. The direction of the ash distribution leaned towards the north, so the government volcano agency issued a warning for residents in Tobelo town that they could be affected by volcanic ash rain. They also had a warning of direct threat of ejected rocks and the potential hazard of lava flows. Mount Dukono is extremely active volcano since March. It has been close to 200 eruptions. Oh, very active volcano. Yeah, so that's all I have to say. Indonesia, which is famously an archipelago, which means every island is basically a volcano. Volcanic eruption happened, and I don't know if they were on a tour, if all of these hikers were like solo hiking, but a lot of them made the wrong decision yesterday to decide to hike in a place that is technically closed since April. I don't know if they had signage up or what, or people were warning them, but yes, you played stupid games, win stupid prizes.
So my volcano jokes. I got volcano jokes. I got them. I got jokes.
Okay.
Where does a volcano scientist go to pee?
I don't know.
A lavatory. Ha ha hoo hoo hoo.
Oh dear.
A man picked up the phone, made a phone call to find out whether he could get insurance if the nearby volcano erupted. They assured him he would be covered. There you go.
By Ash.
There's your 2
Ash
jokes.
coverage.
Two jokes in one. The rest of them were terrible puns. They were just more terrible puns. When I say terrible, they're reaches. You know, it was just not worth repeating. R2.
Let's roll our segment wheel for your stories, which we have.
What do we have?
To respin, because we already did an associate.
Wow, stuck on that one.
I almost landed on bad pun. There it is, bad pun.
Almost. I did almost, and it went second time around.
Yeah.
Bad puns.
Well, it went a sliver over, because bad pun and associate are right next to each other, so it went a sliver over and it landed on associate.
We're going to talk about space junk. We're going to talk about the hantavirus. First, the space junk. ScienceNews.org. Space junk falls back to Earth faster as sunspot numbers climb. Did you know that? Sunspots will cause them to lose altitude. Objects lose altitude faster once sunspot counts reach roughly 70% of their cycle peak. Yikes. One of these days, we're going to update the space junk calculator. This is a human written story voiced by AI, but I'm not AI. It's going to be voiced by me.
As far as
Some solar activity can nudge space debris orbiting Earth out of the sky. As solar cycles reach their peak, signaled by numbers of sunspots appearing in the sun's surface, satellites and other objects in low Earth orbit lose altitude more quickly, researchers report May 6th in Frontiers in Astronomy and Space Sciences. Understanding the sun's role in orbital decay could be a boon to the space operations planning, the team says. That's especially timely as the proliferation of human-made space debris presents a glowing threat of collisions with operational satellites and spacecraft. Thanks to Elon Musk, who just keeps putting them things in space, low orbit anyway. By tracking the positions of 17 pieces of space debris in low Earth orbit for more than 3 decades, astrophysicist Ayasha Ashraf and colleagues at the Vikram Sarabha Space Center in, oh my lord, the name of this town. Oh, let's, it has something like 20 letters, so let me go here. Thiruvananthapuram, India, identified a clear threshold beyond which increases a solar activity impacted the objects. When sunspot numbers reached about 70% of their peak numbers, orbital decay rates rose sharply. The study is the first to demonstrate this long suspected link between solar activity and the fate of space junk. The altitude of space junk, originally from Delta One rocket, shows a stepwise decrease through 3 solar cycles from 1986 to 2024. Peak solar activity in each cycle corresponds to a sharp decline in the object's altitude, after which the orbit levels out until the next peak. So they'll peak with the solar storm, solar spot activity. The sun's radiation emission intensity waxes and wanes over roughly an 11-year cycle. They've decided, as humans in our lifespan, have decided that we've nailed down how the sun works. It's billions of years of existence. In our human lifespan, we've done it. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's an 11-year cycle. We're just trying to predict something. I think that's kind of silly. I think the sun gives a shit about years and the vast, broad thing of the universe. The sun's keeping track of years somehow. How would the sun be keeping track of Earth years? I have no idea. At the peak of each site, to me, it just seems like you're wishing that was an 11-year cycle. It just seems like it's repeating, but you can't tell me you can measure sunspots from 30,000 years ago. You can't. There's no way. You can't. Sorry. At the peak of each cycle, a surfeit of sunspots, that's a word, blooms at the sun's surface. Some of the intense radiation also streams towards Earth, heating up and expanding an outer layer of atmosphere known as the thermosphere. Objects in low Earth orbit, a zone about 160 to 2,000 kilometers from Earth's surface, find themselves wading through denser atmosphere, adding friction and slowing them down. And slowing down can mean they descend out of orbit sooner than they would have otherwise. They don't fall completely, they fall enough until they can recover from the interference. This is what happened to the 17 objects that Ashraf and her colleagues studied. Each of these 3 consecutive solar cycles from 1986 to 2024 rose to peak activity. These objects circle Earth every 90 to 120 minutes at altitude between 600 and 800 kilometers. Each time the cycle passed the sunspot threshold, the space junk gradually dropped a few kilometers in altitude, researchers found. That threshold pattern held true from cycle to cycle through where exactly the sunspot threshold occurred and how much the object's altitude decreased. It also depends on the overall intensity of the solar cycle. There's a lot of variables, but one thing's for certain, these 17 objects continue to drop faster. They're going to drop anyway. They are space junk after all. There's nothing keeping them up there but Earth's, centrifugal whatever the hell. Identifying this pattern could be particularly helpful as missions identify the best launch windows. Avoid any collisions with debris. So, yes, we can predict sunspots, then we can predict how fast the space junk falls. There's your fun little story on space junk. Bad puns!
We love space junk!
Space junk and solar flares.
I wanted to be an astronomer. Huh? I wanted to be an astronomer, but I couldn't find the space for it. The sun is so popular because it's the star of the show. No, oh, there it goes. Like, where's my funny ha-has?
Okay, one more story.
You know what?
And then we'll break
The
for
son
week.
never really needs to go to college.
Okay, why?
He already has 1 million degrees. There you go. There we go.
God, I bought this son a beer for its birthday. It was a Corona.
Oh dear.
I'm just making bad puns myself. Sorry. Nature.com has another story here about vaccines. We had the recent outbreak in our floating prisons with botulism. Now they're floating prisons with hantavirus. As that's what I call cruise ships. You're in prison, boys, boys and girls. You're not going anywhere, and you're at their mercy. Don't even get off the ship; they'll leave you somewhere. It's like, you want to talk me into going on a cruise? You better pay for it, because I'm not going to pay my money to go sit on a ship where I get treated like a child. And basically, my thing about cruise ships is a lot of people die on cruise ships, and they just stick them in there in the freezer with your food. I'm just telling you, they're out to sea for quite a while, and most of the people there are in their 80s. Not most of them, I would say a good portion of them. And time runs out for everybody. Nature.com, there is no vaccine for deadly hantavirus. What that means for the future of outbreaks. Basu Mahana. It's either two names, or it's Mahana Basu, or it's Basu Kama Mahana is the story. So confused. I think it's Mahana Basu. Either way, the story is... Whoops, I just closed it like an idiot. Oh boy. An outbreak of hantavirus on board the cruise ship MV Hondias, which we talked about earlier this week, throwing a spotlight on a rare but deadly infection and a lack of options for treatment and prevention. You get it from mice. 3 people who are on the ship have tested positive for the virus, including 1 passenger who died. Among the other 5 people that suspected infections, 2 have died. So it's just killing people. Kind of serious. Hantavirus is typically spreads through the air in particles from rodent urine droppings and saliva, but some strains can occasionally spread between people who are in close contact. One of those strains, called Andes virus, is responsible for an ongoing outbreak in Argentina. And the World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has confirmed that the passengers were infected with the strain for which there is no specific treatments or vaccines. Best specific treatment is, hold on, try not to die. Scientists expected that some of the travelers might have been infected in Argentina before boarding the cruise. Although hantavirus infections are rare, some strains have fatality rate up to 50%. That's pretty big. For more than 3 decades, Jay Hopper, he's a Jay Hopper, a virologist at the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Disease in Frederick, Maryland, has been working to develop a vaccine against several strains of hantavirus that can infect people, including the Andes version of the virus. He talks to Nature about why these vaccines remain elusive. Some people have suggested, and I have said it before, that climate change could alter rodent populations and increase the number of people living in entering areas where these rodents are present. That might increase the case numbers. As with any zoonotic virus, which is animal-borne virus that spills over to humans. Ooh, you spilled it on me. Ah!
Yeah.
I like that. Spills over.
Wash your hands, everyone.
That monkey spilled some virus. The situation is inherently unpredictable. Look at what happened to the monkeypox virus. What did happen? Well, he's not going to tell me. He's just going to say that. Okay.
Well, they got rid of it in Africa. I had it for 2 years, though. It took 2 years to get rid of it.
He goes on to say, without providing any further context, he goes on to say, because these viruses are rodent-borne and pose a risk to troops on the ground, the military has long wanted a vaccine. I worked at the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Disease, which has been working on hantavirus vaccines since 1980s. I joined the team in the 1980s. At this time, new hantavirus causing hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, or HPS, appeared. The cynomyvirus in 4 corners of the United States. That was 4 corners is New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, and Arizona. Region of the United States, and Andes virus in South America. The lab started developing vaccines for this strains. A key advance of our team has been developing hamster models of a lethal disease. Very good news for the hamsters. This provides a realistic animal model to test vaccines and therapeutics. We have done phase 1 clinical trials of vaccines for Andes virus 2 and other strains, Hanta and Palmala. In humans, the Andes DNA vaccine induces naturalizing antibodies, which are important to protection, so the vaccine looks promising. However, it requires at least 3 doses, prime plus 2 boosters, instead of a single shot or a simple boost regimen. We are now taking neutralization antibodies from vaccinating humans and testing them as a vaccine in a hamster model. Results will be reported for future publication. One more paragraph and I'm done. Because human cases of Andes virus are rare and geographically scattered, there is no obvious region to run a classic phase 3 efficacy trial. So to meet the requirements for licensing the vaccine requires more creative approaches. Hence the emphasis on neutralizing antibodies as a correlate of protection. If you understood that. Another major barrier for hantavirus vaccines is funding. That's always, you're not going to get it from our government, because our government has just cut off funding to everything except the rich assholes and the oil companies. And of course, anybody that's polluting and anybody that's ruining our country is getting all the money, and don't expect anything from our government to do anything about this. Fund-wise, the scientists are just going to have to figure out ways to do it on their own, because we know the National Institute of Science is being defunded because
other people do invest in the WHO and stuff, though. So other countries are saying.
Yeah, we hope this one researcher in the army, though, he's got funding problems, because the army's like,
he's gonna brain drain over to Europe or something. Oh, these guys won't pay me to look this up.
Just go to places where biological warfare is a thing, folks. So if I was another country and I knew my country was, and I knew that the United States was ignoring biological, research and trying to, I would just go, hey, they cut that research. Let's go into killing them with that. And it's all planned. It's all planned. It's all part of Putin's plan. Don't worry about it. It's all part of Putin's plan.
Weakening democracy.
That's the paradigm you got to look through this world in. Vladimir Putin is blackmailing Trump, probably with the Epstein files, a lot of that shit, and that's the paradigm we live in, and it's been that way for at least 10 years, folks. At least.
Okay, my first pun. Where did my puns go? Here we go. Stay positive.
I gotta find a video.
Unless it's a test result.
Aha! Hold on a second.
The only outbreak I want is laughter. The virus, why it was always so negative. It said that's just how it replicates.
Right. Oh, okay.
Okay, there's enough jokes for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Next
so much
story.
humor. Our next segue is a accurate metaphor simile. That should be easy enough to do while you're finding a video.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about some culture news. That's right. This has been going on, I think, for a couple weeks now. But Rebel Wilson is being taken to court for defamation by Charlotte McInnes, who was a co-worker or co-actor or co-star on the musical comedy The Deb. And we're gonna go more into the story. This is on The Guardian with Associated Press. Rebel Wilson has been accused in court of being a liar who made up terrible claims about her colleagues and completely rewrote history. The Pitch Perfect star copped the blunt assessment in the dying hours of a fiery defamation battle where she is being sued by Charlotte McInnes, the lead actor in the musical comedy The Deb, which Wilson directed, co-produced, and starred in. McInnes claimed Wilson defamed her in a series of social media posts that suggested she is a liar and a sellout who walked back a sexual misconduct complaint to further her career. The post claimed McInnes confided to the older actor and later recanted she felt uncomfortable when the film's co-producer Amanda Ghost asked to have a shower and bathe together. McInnes denies making or retracting a complaint, insisting she was not uncomfortable when the pair shared a bath in their swimwear after Ghost suffered a medical episode in September 2023. McInnes barrister Sue Chrysanthou SC accused Wilson of complete revision of history, littered with dishonesty during her emphatic closing address in the federal court this Friday, May 8th. She noted the bridesmaid actor testified she told local producer Greer Simkin about the alleged complaint on the day it was made to her, but that had been contracted in court. Simkin gave evidence she had not heard that Wilson claimed her co-star felt uncomfortable about the incident until it was relayed by Ghost a week later. It was just one example of glaring inconsistencies in Wilson's evidence, which has been repudiated by others, Chrysanthou told the court. She is a fantastical liar who made up terrible allegations about multiple people, and her own witnesses have discredited her, she said. We say Miss Wilson cannot be believed on anything she has said. The first-time director lied to Ghost about receiving complaint to create division between her and McInnes, who she sought to paint as a troublemaker, Chrysanthou said. A text from Wilson, which accused the young actor of leaking information to the film's writers, make it clear she was set on undermining McInnes' relationship with others, she argued. The uncontested facts of the bathroom incident are a medical episode occurred. No one felt uncomfortable, and witnesses didn't think anything untoward happened. One can hardly imagine a less sexy environment for some kind of harassment to occur, shaking in hives and tea provided by the witness, Chrysanthou told the court. McInnes has suffered devastating harm as a result of the social media posts and hasn't worked since she starred in a stage production, a role which she had previously secured, her barrister said. My client has been unable to eat, unable to sleep, and been distressed. She fears what Rebel Wilson is going to do to her next, Chrysanthou said. No young woman dreams of being pulled into the spotlight by a celebrity and maligned. But Wilson testified the young star doesn't appear to have sustained any damage to her reputation or career, pointing to the lead role in a six-figure record deal McInnes has secured. She's changed her story. She's flip-flopped and she's been given a huge benefit, she said. Wilson gave evidence she had seen many photos of McInnes on international trips and in expensive hotels, some of which had been sent to her by the I Hate Amanda Ghost fan club. Prior to the Deb, she was relatively unknown, and I understood she did not have the means to travel around the world in luxury, the A-lister wrote in her affidavit. Her barrister, Daoud Sibtain SC, will begin his closing remarks today in the afternoon. So it probably already happened because it's the evening in Australia. Wait, where is this being done? Is this being done in Australia? Yeah, this is an Australian court, so yeah. It's probably already done the closing remarks. But, I don't know if we have any updates on that in our closing remarks. Probably not. Probably not until tomorrow. So, long story short, or actually pretty short story short, the actor said this actor was either doing sexual things with another actor, or the other actor was doing sexual things with her. And they both, the two people who are being accused of doing the sexual things, said there was nothing sexual about that. It was a manic episode, and a warm bath, some tea was provided so that they could get through it emotionally. And McInnes is saying Rebel Wilson has ruined her career because she said that she was involved in some sort of unprofessionalism on set. And Rebel Wilson is saying, hey, doesn't look like your career is suffering that much. You're taking private jets all over the country and all over the world, and you just secured a deal, a 6-album deal. So Rebel it doesn't sound like you're
famous for the famous for the movies with the
Pitch
acapella
Perfect.
group. So was that
Yes, Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't think of it. They made like 5
it's
of
a bunch
them.
of
Yeah, Pitch Perfect.
I mean, as most defamation suits go, right? It's a bunch of hearsay. It's a bunch of she said and she said, mostly she said, and I think it's because
that's what happens when you're
unfortunately,
famous.
yeah,
it's a double-edged
unfortunately
sword.
that paints
You know,
McInnes really badly because she's the one who's suing the star. So it sounds. In I guess a devil's advocate way, it sounds like McInnes is trying to. No G. It's McInnes. Yeah, McInnes.
Oh, okay.
But anyways,
Okay.
it's in a devil's advocate sort of way. It sounds like she didn't get enough attention from Rebel Wilson, I guess, whatever, lying about sexual assault on set, and decided, let's take this to court so I can get even more press time. This is not my opinion. This is just like a devil advocate's position, right? Let's get more press about let's put my name in the headlines. And that Rebel Wilson is just like, whatever, I'll play along. Because you're suing me, so.
Die.
But doesn't seem like she really cares. And sure, I'll pay some money. Whatever. She doesn't care if she wins or loses. Because she feels like she's being used. Her name is being used to put McInnes' name in the headlines, I guess. Her fame is being used. Of course,
if you sue people for something they put on the internet or whatever, you get the Streisand effect. Everybody runs to see it.
Yeah. And also, some people believe it happens just because you said it.
And my metaphor.
Hey, isn't that the lady who sexually assaulted her coworker? It's like, no, that didn't happen, but yeah.
Now let's have
Yes, I'm ready for your metaphor.
Look, my metaphor I get from the song "Limelight" by Rush. The late great Neil Peart wrote these lyrics about limelight, if you know the song. And it goes, one of the lines goes like this: all the world is indeed a stage, and we are merely players, performers and portrayers, each another's audience outside the gilded cage. That's right. We're all a bunch of actors. So there's your metaphor about life, actually. We're putting on a face. I'm this person, not that one you pretend is there.
And of course, it's everything all of us do. We act professional in certain settings and less professional in others.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's my story too. So let's roll the segue wheel again. Spin the wheel.
Right on. All right, back to this day in history.
Take me to this day in history. Did you send me a video? Yeah, I see it. Okay, it's right here.
Wait a minute.
I got it.
I did. We're talking about Joan of Arc.
All right, it's double up today, as I also give you some metaphors and similes. The wheel is just like, just do the same thing all day.
Pull this screen into the station for this week. We're going back to the year 1429. Holy crap, what happened in 1429? You're thinking, oh, that was Joan of Arc times. Yes, it was. Largely due to the efforts of Joan of Arc, English troops ended their siege of the French city of Orleans, which was the military turning point of the 100 Years' War between France and England. Finally a turning point at 100 Years' War.
40 years in.
Unfortunately named war there. Wow. I've said this before. How would you like to get drafted into like year 50 of the 100 Years' War? At least those won't last long. It's the 100 Years' War, dude. Oh, shit. What year are we in? 52? Fuck. 1737, Edward Gibbon, who's best known for his sweeping the history, decline, and the fall of the Roman Empire, was born in Putney, Surrey. That's it. He wrote that. 1846, U.S. troops under Zachary Taylor defeated a Mexican force under General Mariano Arista at the Battle of Palo Alto, the first clash of the Mexican-American War. Zachary Taylor, what did they call him? I forget what they called him. 1864, during the American Civil War, the Union forces Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant engaged the Confederate troops under Robert E. Lee at Spotsylvania Courthouse, Virginia. Why we're talking about that? That probably been the first time those two met in a confrontation, because Grant had spent most of the war out on the Western Theater, kicking ass and taking names out there. 1877, the first Westminster, the first Westminster Kennel Club dog show happened this time. Then it was known as the first annual New York bench show of dogs. Now it's known as the Westminster Kennel Club because they wanted a fancy name that sounded royal, right? Began attracting large crowds over 4 days. It was one of the oldest continuously running sporting events in the United States, second only to the Kentucky Derby. I guess second oldest continuously running sporting events. And you consider looking at dogs a sporting event, that's a sporting event. Yeah, and sometimes that sport can be a real bitch. There's your pun. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, 1884, Harry S. Truman. No, we didn't have puns, we had metaphors, sorry. 1884, Harry S. Truman was born, the 33rd president of the United States. He was the president from 45 to 53. That's right. Harry Truman's birthday. Happy birthday, Harry. Give him hell, Harry, as they used to say for some reason. 1886, American pharmacist John S. Pemberton developed Coca-Cola. That's why this is the Coconut Smile Day. It's Coca-Cola Day. A drink he originally billed as a cure-all tonic. He based it on cocaine from the coca leaf and caffeine-rich extracts from the cola nut. Coca-Cola. It'll get you high. It'll make you rake your yard, even though you don't have a yard. 1902. Mount Peely, you'll rake your neighbor's yard or just the street. Don't rake the street. You'll do something with your time other than sit there. Because cocaine is get up and do it drug. That's the one that makes you totally exhausted at the end of the night. You crash for 14 hours. Wake up and binge again because you're a cokehead. 1902, Mount Pelee on Martinique erupted, destroying the port of Saint Pierre and killing 30,000 people. We're talking about volcanoes earlier, and we never stop talking about on this channel. 15% of the island's population was wiped out in a matter of minutes, I imagine. Jeez, I mean, you choke and cough and everything on pulverized rock is what you're breathing. 1942, the Battle of the Coral Sea. The USS Lexington became the first U.S. aircraft carrier to be sunk in World War II. It's still sunk and never became unsunk. 1945, following Germany's unconditional surrender, World War II in Europe officially ended at midnight. This is VE Day. This day is VE Day. 1945, 81 years ago today. In 1950, police in Spilkberg, Denmark, were alerted to the discovery of a corpse in a bog. It was revealed to be a remarkably preserved body, and was given the name Talundman. If you're Talundman, raise your hand. 1970, a month after Paul McCartney announced that he had left the Beatles, the British rock group released Let It Be, their last original studio album to hit the record shops. And when I find myself in times of trouble, I listen to the Beatles. Let it be, let it be. 1999, Nancy Mace, who is absolutely nut job loony. But back in the day, 1999, she became the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, a military college in Charleston, South Carolina. She took all that promising career and turned it into fascism. Way to go. And now she's like, oh my God, Republicans treat me like a second-class citizen because I'm a woman. Who?
Hello?
Who's treating you like a second-class citizen? The party that you joined that's always treated you like a second-class citizen? You joined the Citadel against all of their,
of the logic in the world.
Were the ones that are against you. You joined their party anyway. I remember the Citadel controversy. I actually know somebody that went to the Citadel, and there was a woman who enrolled in the Citadel, right? She was very famous, and he was there. He's a brother of my ex-girlfriend and from Los Angeles, by the way. Anyway, he went to the Citadel and he was part of the people that helped run her out of the citadel. That's his. So yeah, he's a piece of shit. I don't think he's proud of it, but yeah. So Nancy Mace, after breaking barriers, just goes, hey, that's a good idea. I'll just be in with the fascists or holding women down and taking away their rights. An absolute nut job. So, and again, she is a nut job, and even Republicans consider her a nut job. So everybody considers her a nut job. That poor woman, all that progress 27 years ago today, squandered it on fascism. In 2012, Maurice Sendak, who's best known for Where the Wild Things Are, died at the age of 83. So he wrote that book. Where the Wild Things Are. They're out in the woods. Out in the woods, man. Go in the woods. That's where they are. 2025. Cardinal Robert Francis Provost was first elected 1 year ago today. The first American Pope. And that comes when I was a White Sox fan. A White Sox fan of all things. And a Bears fan. We won't hold that against him because we know the Bears and the Pope both shit in the woods, right? And he succeeded Francis, who had died the previous month. So there you go. So happy coronation or whatever they call it to Pope Leo the, what is it now? The Leo the 14th. Yeah. There's been 13 other Leos. We should do a Thursday 13 of all the other Leos, huh? 1980, the end of smallpox, we hope. We know it ain't done now thanks to Brainworm Bobby. We know it's going to make it come back. And this day in 1980, the World Health Organization, not the smallpox has been eradicated. Nope. It's going to make it come back. Don't worry. The deadly disease had been devastated populations for centuries, so a global vaccination campaign was launched in 1967. The final case of the disease recorded a decade later. After 3 more years of monitoring, the WHO declared victory. And again, I'm not convinced it's been eliminated. So we'll see. I don't think it's been eliminated. The anti-vax people want to make sure it comes back. Paul Gauguin's birthday today, French painter. Gauguin, when was he born? Wait, no, it's his death day. He was born June 7th, 1848 in Paris. He died in Hadiola in French Polynesia. Was he just leaving for tax free? What was he doing in French Polynesia? Vacation, perhaps, because he's only 54. Maybe he just died of malaria, right? So happy, well, actually not happy. This is the day he died, and at least he made it to the 20th century, 1903, May 1903. Our other birthdays today, 1899, F.A. Hayek, British economist. Don Rickles is 100. It's not only David Attenborough's 100th birthday, it's Don Rickles' 100th birthday. Don Rickles and David Attenborough, I had known they were born on the same day. I would have put together a compilation, like a back and forth. David Attenborough says something really profound about nature, and Don Rickles insults him. Because that's what Don Rickles was. He was an insult comic. He insulted everybody, and he got racial. He always got racial. In fact, he got racial.
What do you call it?
So again, he went right. Yeah. Again, Don Rickles just kept coming with his insults, and a lot of them were just totally offensive to everyone. And again, never paid the price. Never paid the price for it. That's Don Rickles. That's what he does. He's got Tourette's. We can't stop him. Anyway, it's Don Rickles' 100th birthday. It's David Attenborough's 100th birthday. David made it to 100. Don didn't, but Don made it pretty close. I think he made it into his 90s. And he was in, his last movie was Casino, if you want to see his work. And if you want to see somebody just insults people constantly and just warm and friendly at the end. I love everybody. Everybody's wonderful. Everybody's wonderful at the end. He kisses everybody's ass at the end to make up for all the insults. So anyway, Don Rickles' birthday, David Attenborough's birthday, Ricky Nelson's birthday, also American musician, actor, died in a plane crash, tragically. We know that because the oxygen was eliminated from the fuselage, which is bullshit. Why do they do that? Anyway, 1961 is the birthday of former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. So there's your birthdays, your national days. Today's National Have a Coke, have a smile, and have a coconut cream pie because it's National Coconut Cream Pie Day.
Cream Pie Day!
National Provider Appreciation Day because you have a provider. I don't know if they're providing you a place to live, physical comfort, a reading program, a blanket. They're providing you something. It's National Knockout Rose Day. Knockout Rose looks like these giant red things. National Student Nurse Day. You can be a provider and a student nurse. You can also be a provider and a military spouse because it's National Military Spouse Appreciation Day. You go and deploy, your spouse is back home going, oh, I got all this crap by myself and this crappy military salary. Unbelievable what they expect me to put up with. And yeah, a lot of them don't. So if you're hanging
National
in there,
Provider Day is for childcare providers. So, you know, babysitters, daycare workers, that kind of stuff. So you're not a parent, but you basically help parent children.
Right on. And that's everything for this week. Mispronunciation, technical glitches, good news, weird news, lists, mucking fun day, Friday news dump, all that crap, everything for all that is this week on Friday, May 8th on Before Cokes and Coconut Cream Pie. Coke and coconuts. We don't want the country. It's time for Coke and Coke.
Pay no attention to that white powder on the pie.
If you want to hang out, and you take her out, okay, or whatever. If you want to get down on the ground, okay, there.
Roses.
She go by, she go by.
Dazzling, effortless beauty of resilience, just as Mother's nature and inspired these iconic flowers. That's what the Knockout a Rose Day is for. It's for the day right before Mother's Day, I guess.
Oh, it's Mother's Day this weekend. I forgot. Oh, shit. Is it this weekend or next weekend?
It says here it's the Friday before it. I don't know which day it actually is, but
No, Mother's Day is always the
I never know, because I like to appreciate people every day, and I don't wait for a holiday to do it. But, you know.
It's a greeting card day. The florist came up with it.
It's capitalism.
Hey, flowers are blooming. It's May. All the flowers are blooming, and we got to get rid of all these blooming flowers. Let's call it Mother's Day. There you go. That's the reason it exists.
They're all dying.
They don't have
we need
it
to get rid of them.
They don't have it in January for a reason. They have it when the flowers are blooming. Because the florists.
The end of smallpox was like the final curtain falling on a long and harrowing play, bathed in the dawn of new hope. Don Rickles.
Don Rickles. Didn't tell jokes. He just picked out a person in a room and
what's the word I want to think of? He's a famous, I can't think of what it's called. He was a verbal powerhouse, lighting up the stage with his unapologetic brand of friendly jabs. There you go. A sharp-tongued conductor. There you go. He's gonna be the sharp-tongued conductor of your train to Wisconsin or something.
I kind of wish I would have did a Don Rickles David Attenborough mashup. You know, that would have been awesome. They got the same birthday, the exact same birthday, the same day David Attenborough's being introduced to the world in England somewhere, probably in some castle, right? Because he seems like an aristocrat. And Don Rickles was in some slum in Brooklyn, getting shot out of a,
I don't know if he was in a slum. I guess it was the 1920s.
Oh, yeah. He was in a
1920s,
slum.
yeah.
He was in a slum.
In one of those, what do you call towns? What are they called again? The
New York City? Brooklyn?
No, I can't remember what they're called, but basically shed towns. There's a bunch of sheds during the Great Depression. What are those called?
No, it wasn't like that. It's just poor. Just poor people living in, poor people housing, apartments, so forth.
All right. Well, that's actually, we have some international days today and over the weekend, so let me cover those real quickerino. Where are they? Here they are. Today is Time of Remembrance and Reconciliation of those who lost their lives during the Second World War. That's right. Even though it's been 70-plus years, 75-plus years since World War II, a lot of people died, especially on that beach on D-Day So remember all those people who died so that fascism from Germany would not win. Nobody wanted to be part of the next up and coming racial purity test that was Queen. Nazi Germany. So that's today. Tomorrow is World Migratory Bird Day. So it's time for the birds to come home for the springtime. That's right. Winter's over officially. Yeah. And all the birds are landing and nesting. So the best way you can support migratory birds is, first of all, I guess don't hit them with planes. You know, stay out of... Because birds have their set paths that they take, right? It's genetically coded in them. So the best thing we can do is, I don't know, don't put any planes going through there. It's that easy. Just like how you make sure planes don't collide with each other, make sure planes don't collide with bird migratory paths, and also protect lands in which they can nest. We have tons of nesting lands here where I live because the Netherlands is basically a swamp, so birds love swamps. And on Sunday, it is International Day of Andonia, which, if I remember correctly, is a tree. The tree goats love to climb on top of and live off of. The tree branches. Sorry, did I say Andonia? Argan tree. Argania. I didn't see the R because it was tiny. The argan tree is a native species of the sub-Saharan region of Morocco in the southwest of the country, which grows in arid and semi-arid regions. So, great place for shade in those desert regions. Great place to find some water, probably, because it digs some deep roots into an aquifer somewhere. And it stops erosion and poor soil quality. So, celebrate the argan tree! And, of course, argan oil. The biggest liquid gold export out of Morocco. I think I even have some right now. No, I have argan oil. Yep. 100% argan oil here, so great for the hair and skin. Liquid gold out of Morocco, even though this was really cheap actually, but you know, probably not as cheap as olive oil, probably the same as olive oil. So celebrate argan trees and argan oil in a huge industry. It can withstand up to temperatures of 50 degrees Celsius. That's crazy. Very heat resistant tree. And great oil for the hair. Probably because of that oil, right? Heat resistant oil. Are you ready to go?
Been ready for a long time.
Oh, no, you just put your hands up, so I thought you couldn't get their video loaded or something.
What?
Okay. Then this has been Alison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the US. As we finish off another week, another Friday news dump. And what does that mean? Do not look at the news over the weekend. No doom scrolling. That is our only mission we give you today. We will see you tomorrow, on Monday for the Mucking Fun Day, and we'll cover all the news you might have missed over the weekend. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Before Coffee Podcast, so that you know when we go live and post a video. Also, follow our...
But nobody's subscribed now. It makes no sense to me. It's been months since we had one subscriber added, and we keep losing them. So I think YouCrew is just completely suppressing our channel. I suspect them of it. There's no way.
Also follow our new Twitch channel. Even if you don't use Twitch, you can follow it on also Before Coffee Podcast on Twitch. We're trying to get we're on our journey to affiliate, so we're trying to get 25 followers on there so we can unlock affiliate and do some fun channel points and stuff. Anyways, we'll see you next week. Have a good weekend. Don't forget to turn this notification on, so you know when we go live and post a video. And of course, thank you to all our Patreon Before Coffee supporters. And here is our celebratory centenary mic drop moment. 100 years of loving the earth. Well, I don't know if he loved the earth when he was 1 year old, but you know.
Jack Lester's absence,
might as well.
David had to take on the role of catching animals.
David Attenborough's father was a professor at a college, and he grew up on a college campus. That's where he grew up.
And from its size and markings, I was quite sure.
Don Rickles was born in Queens.
And therefore,
this is how young he is.
Middle-class family.
Something of a relief.
And Don Rickles made it to 95, so he only died almost 95. He died 5 years ago. So that's pretty
Look at this. It's him re-remembering it or reminiscing about it.
Grapple with the snake up in the tree. I'll cut the branch down.
Hey, look at that young fella with all that spryness in him, going up a tree. Wonder
Look
if
at this good video. Did they like HDify or whatever? This is a really good video. Yeah.
Well, they had high quality motion pictures. The BBC wasn't fucking around.
Yeah, but like if this was when he was what, 20, 30?
Came down and I
motion pictures been around for a while.
Years ago?
You know that, right?
And then I had to face
I think they made it better.
7
Look
years
better.
ago. No, this is the 60s,
So
man.
I'm trying to remember what I'd learned in West Africa, and I've picked up a sack and tried to throw it over an animal's head. Very inexpertly, I must say. Nowhere near.
No.
I was quite nervous.
You don't need to
after all.
throw a sack over a python.
He threw a sack on his head.
He's scared it's going to bite or something. But he really should just pick it up.
And grasp it.
Maybe I shouldn't be a naturalist, huh? Maybe this ain't my calling.
He's thinking. As soon as you grab his head. Otherwise,
oh, this is more of a snake person. He doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to be
my first python.
The precursor to Steve Irwin. He could have just been standing there and talking about the snake and then walked away. But instead, he was like, "No, I want to get it out of the tree."
No, yes, no.
We can't observe this thing. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels: Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.